On this episode of the show, we're going to talk about the 4 Ds of a terrible estate plan.
Creating wealth, protecting families, building legacy. This is the Rich Life Lawyer Show.
Hey everybody, this is Christopher Small, and this is episode 32 of the Rich Life Lawyer Show. Thank you for being here. I'm super pumped. I'm excited. Today we're going to talk about something that is always at the top of my mind, obviously, because I'm an estate planning attorney, but it should be at the top of your mind too. And this is, how are we going to, or what are the elements of a bad estate plan? And here's the problem. Here's the tricky part. These elements that I'm going to talk to you about, the 4 Ds of a terrible estate plan, are the same elements of pretty much every single estate plan you're going to get from every single attorney out there. And they're terrible because they don't take into account legacy. They don't take into account what you can really truly use your assets to do. They don't take into account how you can promote your traditions, your values, your morals, your story to your family generations down the line. So because that doesn't happen, what you get is this sort of run-of-the-mill, same kind of a plan, no matter where you go, kind of a thing that sounds good and might even make sense at first glance, but in reality makes no sense. And I'm actually going to wait until probably the next video, the next episode, to talk about why it makes no sense and what the right estate plan looks like. But today we're going to talk about the 4 Ds of a terrible estate plan. You ready? Are you ready? Okay, here we go. Number one is dump. The first D is dump. Okay, so the first element of a terrible estate plan is dump. Dump the assets down to the next generation. Okay, that's what everybody thinks they need to do. Okay, they come in, they have an estate planning meeting with someone. The first thing the estate planning attorney does is try to find out, okay, what are your assets? What do you have? How can we dump this down to the next generation? Number 2, the second D is divide. So once you've determined what you're dumping, then you figure out what are you going to divide. And typically you just divide it amongst your kids equally, right? Okay, so I have $1 million. I have 4 kids. They're going to each get 250 grand. That's it. Dump, then divide. Number 3, once you've determined how you're going to dump and divide, then you really focus on deferring. And when we talk about deferring, what we're talking about is taxes. Okay, I'm going to owe potentially X amount of estate tax dollars, or my kids are going to be potentially looking at X amount of income tax dollars from an IRA, for example, that's passed down. How can I defer that tax as long as possible to not pay it as long as possible? And then the last D of a terrible estate plan, and this is the part that most estate planning attorneys don't talk to you about, is dissipate. There is I think it's it's like a old German saying or something, and I can't recall what the German saying is off the top of my head, but translated to English is shirt sleeves to shirt sleeves in 3 generations. And the reason that saying exists is because most often when someone follows this traditional estate plan, dump, divide, defer, the 4th thing that happens is all of the assets are dissipated within typically 3 generations. So in the 1st generation is you, the 2nd generation is your kids, and the 3rd generation would be your grandkids. So what that means is by the time your grandkids are around, your money has been completely depleted, it's been spent, it's been wasted, it's been taxed, it's been all used up. So it's not been able to be used by further generations. Now, it doesn't have to be that way. It shouldn't be that way. Estate planning can actually be an interesting process, almost a fun process that brings your family together today, that makes you closer, that gives you a reason to get together and talk about what's important to you and what's valuable to you, both from an asset standpoint and from a value standpoint. I'm going to talk more about that in the next episode. But today, remember the 4 Ds: dump, divide, defer, dissipate. If you go and talk to an estate planning attorney and they start talking to you about these 4 Ds, it's a red flag that you're getting kind of a cookie cutter solution, and it's a solution that's probably not going to accomplish all of your goals at the end of the day. All right, I'm Christopher Small with CMS Law Firm. This is the Rich Life Lawyer Show. If you have any questions that you want answered on the show, please email me, chris@cmslawfirm.com. If you have comments, leave them below, either on YouTube if you're here, and you should subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed yet, because you're going to miss out on awesome information like this. If you're on my website here, leave a comment below too. I respond everywhere. All right, so thank you again, and I can't wait to talk to you soon.